Hey guys, it's the WalterFootball.com After Dark show for March 20th, 2024. Going to be doing some more NFL free agent signing grades. Not a crazy amount happened, but we had some significant signings that we can talk about. As you can see, I'm here solo on Tuesday. Usually here with Jacob on Tuesday, but he asked for off because he had tickets to the Bruins game tonight. I hope he had fun. I don't even know if they won. I'm actually like looking at that right now. Yeah, they beat the Ottawa Senators 6-2. So hopefully Jacob had a good time. Bruins look like a good team for what I hear. I don't know much about hockey, but outside of what Tom told me, and that was to bet the Predators at 60-1. So I'm a Nashville Predators fan right now. Just gonna go over free agent signing grades as usual, and you guys can. John says Bruins suck. Do they suck? I have no idea. I just like people told me that they're good, or someone told me that they're good. I don't even know who it was. I'm gonna. There's Quacky. Thank God that Quacky guy isn't on tonight. Hey Tom, how's it going? You have to tell me what Game of Thrones episodes you're watching. I can't wait. I actually watched episode 6. I actually think that was one of the better episodes so far. It's kind of a banger. It's a lot of action and whatnot, and the final scene was a nice one. So all right, so please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description for the merch store. All that would mean a lot to us. If you really want to help us out, we have super chats. I've said this so many times. So we make no money on YouTube ads. Like it's less than $2 every episode. It's you'd have like better success finding money just walking down the street downtown and just looking for change or even asking for change. These super chats really help us out. We had 4 last Tuesday. We had 2 on Thursday. We actually had 1 after the show. No, it was Saturday. Sorry, not Thursday. It was Saturday. We actually had 1 after the show, which is kind of a surprise. That all helps out a lot. You guys want to post any comments? I'll read them. I'll answer anything. I am on solo tonight, so no one could get canceled because I can't get canceled and there's no guest on. So it all works out. Quacky says Predators with another big win tonight. Magic 1-2. The future is so bright for our futures. We got to wear shades. That's awesome. Yeah, maybe I should start following the Predators scores. All I did was bet them to win the Stanley Cup. I was just like, I'm gonna hedge obviously when the playoffs start, but I wasn't following the regular season just because like the regular season is so long and kind of like not even into like hockey mode, you know. Like once the playoffs start, I'll definitely be looking. But yeah, maybe I should start looking too. Patrick says, any new shows you're watching, Walt? The new episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm has been hilarious. Shame it's going to be its last season. Well, don't they always say it's the last season and then they make more? Unless they I don't know, kill off Larry David. Like, you know, I don't know. Like they may make more, you know, because I feel like they've said that a lot. As for new shows, I've been watching. I don't know if I told you this already. I watched the show called The Island. That's I-Land. It was only like 7 or 8 episodes, I think. It's only 1 season. It was pretty good. It was kind of like a Lost knockoff, almost. Like at first, it seemed like a Lost knockoff, but then by the time you're in episode 3, you kind of realize it's something completely different. And there are a couple of twists. The last episode had a kind of a major twist that had me like pretty bummed out. Not because it was bad, just because like it was just like, oh my god, like what happened to this one character? You're just like, oh man, it's horrible. It was good. It was a good show, I thought. My only gripe was the main actress. I think she's she's a pretty weak actress overall. She's super attractive, but like as an actress, like she's I don't know. I thought she didn't have much range or anything like that. I thought she was like kind of the weak link, but it was a cool concept. It was like basically I think it was 8 or 10 people wake up on an island. They're all equidistant apart and they don't know their names. And like the name is like sewn, their names are sewn on the back of their shirts. And they're all wearing the same clothes. And like bad stuff starts happening to them. Or, you know, they start doing bad stuff and like you kind of have to like figure out what's going on. And it's a really cool twist in the show. I liked it a lot. I watched the Fall of the House of Usher. I know you watched that, Patrick, but I just got around to it. I thought that was great. I thought it's the second best in that series outside of The Haunting of Hill House. Haunting of Bly Manor, I guess my third favorite. And then The Midnight Club was fourth, and then the vampire one. I don't even know what that one's called. I forget. That was like dead last. Like I felt like nothing happened in that show. On the other side of that, I've been watching Young Sheldon. It's like I know like Big Bang Theory. It's just like a horrible show. Like I mean, it's like sometimes entertaining. It's okay. But like given how popular it was, like it was so overrated. Young Sheldon's actually, I think, actually pretty good. Like the characters seem real. The character development's really good. And like some of the conflicts, like some of the characters have, like even like the two parents, like I watch scenes between them, and like when they have arguments and stuff like that, I'm like wow, my wife and I had this exact argument. Like it's I think it's a really well written show, and there's no laugh tracks. You don't have to worry about that nonsense from the Big Bang Theory. So it's kind of weird that like Chuck Lorre made such a like a pedestrian show like Big Bang, and then he came back strong with Young Sheldon. So I've been watching that as well, and then I've been watching Game of Thrones season 1 to catch up with Tom, to kind of be able to talk to him about it, just so I know what's in which episode. But yeah, I'm gonna like as the summer approaches, I'm gonna start watching more stuff. Cassandra says, I thought Caribbean Enthusiasm ended like 15 years ago. That's the one. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it felt like it ended, and then it came back for one season, and then it ended, and then it came back for one season. It's like they keep going and going. It's pretty funny how they do that. Quacky says, have you seen a documentary called Long Shot? Larry David filming at Dodger Stadium proved that a wrongfully accused man was innocent of murder. Episode was The Carpool Lane. Great episode too. Yeah, I think I remember that episode. I've not seen the documentary. But yeah, I don't know. The only documentary I saw that I'm not a big documentary guy, but like the only documentary I saw on Netflix, it was on Netflix. It's called My Octopus Teacher. It's so good. It's like it's basically a guy, like a deep sea diver, befriends an octopus. Like it sounds like so stupid, but it's actually like it's so good. It's like such a tearjerker at times. And like you see like how they become friends. Like you can see like how smart an octopus is too. Like it's really cool. My friend recommended it to me. I'm like, even like when he said it, I'm like, this sounds stupid. Like, but he was like, no, you have to watch it. It's so good. And then I was like, fine. I watched it, and like I was like, man, I actually texted him as soon as I was done. I was like, thank you for for sharing this with me. It's so good. John says Larry David said it was the first time he ever did something nice for someone, even though it was incidental. Patrick says, have you seen the movie Showgirls with Kyle MacLachlan and Jesse from Saved by the Bell? I rewatched with girlfriend last Friday. She said it's the worst thing she's ever seen. No, I haven't seen that. But speaking of Saved by the Bell, I watched the reboot on Peacock. I had Peacock just because of those 2 NFL games that they had. And it was so bad. Like there were some funny scenes. Like some of the humor was funny, but there's so many woke nonsense things in that show. Like the quarterback of the high school team is a girl, and she beats out a guy, and like she's like so much better than the guy for some reason. And then like there's the main female character is actually a guy, he's trans. And then like AJ Slater, AC Slater, not AJ. AC Slater actually apologizes to Jesse for being such a pig during high school, and it's like, and I think like Slater, Mario Lopez. I think Mario Lopez is actually the producer of that show. I think it was his apology tour, because I think he got in trouble for saying something about like sex change or something like that for kids, and then he got slammed for it by the left, and like I think this was his apology, but the show got canceled after 2 seasons, and I felt like pot committed, so I kept watching it, but it was really bad. There were like I said, some nice scenes, like some episodes were funny. It was only really funny when they focused on the old characters, like Mark Paul Gosselaar and Mario Lopez. Like they had everyone come back except for Dustin Diamond, of course. But like when they focused on the old characters, it's actually like pretty good. But like the kids in that show were just insufferable. Like I just like none of them were fun to watch. Like they all had terrible characters. There's no character arc for any of them. Though the one girl who's quarterback, she was dating Jesse's son, and then she for some reason she turned to a lesbian in season 2. Like it made no sense. Um, oh yeah, MOTs almost too. Yeah, definitely. My Octopus Teacher definitely watch that. Sue says Nuggets were a big tease tonight. Game was 136 too long. Yeah, I saw at halftime they were up 15, and then I went to Trenton to enter in my Rainmakers lineups, and then suddenly they were up 5 when I checked my phone. I'm like, what's going on here? And then I saw they were up 8, and then Minnesota hit like a million threes at the end. They just wouldn't miss, and then Denver couldn't hit any free throws. It's so tilting. Quacky says, who do you think are smarter, octopi or computers? We know it's funny about the computer question. So there's this game called Seventh Guest. I may have talked about it before. It's a puzzle game from like the 90s. And the premise of it is like there's a toy maker who was like a really bad guy. He basically he basically like made the like the toys toxic, and like the kids would like start dying from them. And like before people realized that he made this big mansion, and he invited 6 prominent people in town to it, and he just basically murdered all of them. And you're the 7th guest, and you have to kind of like figure out what's going on. You have to stop him. So like each room in the mansion is this puzzle you have to solve, and they're all his toys. Like you have to beat him at his game and stuff like that. And there's this one puzzle, it's called the microscope puzzle. And basically, like you control blue bacteria and he controls green bacteria, and you have to beat him. You have to, like by the time all the spots are filled, if you have more bacteria than he does, you win. And so when I was a kid, like around 12, I beat this so easily. It was kind of a joke, and like my friend did too, and like we just took it for granted. And so I didn't think about it until I downloaded the game like about 10 years ago on my computer, and I was playing it, and I got up to the microscope puzzle. I'm like, oh, this is easy, I'll beat it. And like I lost, and I'm like, oh, that was a fluke. And then I lost again, and I lost again, I couldn't beat it. And so I just kind of gave up. And then my wife and I were playing it a few years ago on her phone, and like we just weren't even getting close to beating it. And we're like, what is going on here? I actually Googled it. I was like, what did I just become dumber or something? Apparently no one could beat it now. Like no human could beat it, because what happened was the AI for the bacteria is based on like RAM or whatever. And so like the computers in the 90s were so slow that the AI was just dumb. But like now computers and phones are so fast that the AI just crushes any human. Like the AI knows what you're going to do. It'll just beat you. So like I just can't progress through the game because it's impossible to beat. So that was pretty funny. Quacky says Showgirls is one of the worst ever. Yeah, I haven't seen. I heard of it. I've never seen it. Did she see Zach Wilson play quarterback? Was that about the Saved by the Bell? Yeah, she beat out Zach Wilson. It's actually Jesse's son, so he might as well have been Zach Wilson. Quacky says Walt didn't mention that in the show. It was the girl versus Jamarcus Russell battling out. So it's either Jamarcus Russell or Russell Wilson. Zach Wilson. It was just a compilation tune. So John asking better AFC North division winner odds: Browns at plus 550 or Steelers plus 950. Would you consider either? Man, I hate Russell Wilson, and he's going to start apparently. I think Fields is going to take over eventually, but it's a tough division, and like the Steelers are probably going to go like 9-8, 10-7. I don't think that's going to be good enough to win the division. I think the Bengals will take it. Of course, the Ravens are definitely going to be in the mix, and I think the Browns are better than the Steelers. I don't know if they're that much better, but plus 550 is not too bad for the Browns. And they could get hot. And like, who knows? Maybe Deshaun Watson finally reverts to what he was in 2020 and prior. So I think I'd take a shot on the Browns. I don't like what the Steelers did with the quarterbacks. And I know they crappy quarterbacks beforehand, but like I really despise Russell Wilson as a quarterback now. I don't know, but like you'll have time, right? And then in training camp, if Fields is looking good or something like that, maybe you can put a bet on the Steelers. But right now, I think I'll take the Browns. Quacky says Wilson doesn't look much better than Trubisky these last couple of years. Yeah, this is some people say this is crazy, especially the people on Twitter who really defended Russell Wilson when he was benched last year. But I think the Steelers would have been better off with Mason Rudolph than Russell Wilson at this stage of their careers. Obviously, 2 years ago that would have been crazy to say, but Russell Wilson he's so washed up now, and Mason Rudolph played pretty well. So I think it was a big mistake what the Steelers did. Let's get into some of these signings. The Chargers signed, so everything before March 16th we did. March 17th and onward, the Chargers signed Denzel Perriman, 1 year, $3 million. I like Perriman as a run blocker. It's a run defender. He's just a really good role player. It seems like every team that signs him gets better against the run, and when they lose him, they get worse against the run. And so having him around just for 1 year and $3 million, I think that's going to be great for the Chargers. He could play just 2 downs, and he can help stop the run. They have to go against Isaiah Pacheco twice a year. They have to go against the Raiders running game, which is usually pretty strong. Zamir White looked good at the end of the year, so they get Perriman for twice in those matchups. So I like the signing. There's no risk. It's 1 year, $3 million. So why not? I think Houston's gonna miss him. And remember, Houston was awful against the run for many years, and then last year they were coincidentally really good against the run. And I think Perriman was a big part of that. Browns sides Tyler Huntley. So I thought this was an interesting signing because the Browns, they obviously already had Deshaun Watson, and then they signed Jameis Winston. So why are they signing a third quarterback? Well, I actually think it's a good move because, first of all, this is for the veteran minimum. So, there's zero risk. They can just cut him and not feel it at all. So, second, Deshaun Watson's coming off shoulder surgery. Who knows? Maybe he's not 100%. Shoulders can be tricky. I was talking to Scott Mason from Play Like a Jet, and we're talking about the Jets in the aughts, when they had Chad Pennington, and we're like, man, Chad Pennington was so good. What happened to him? And then we kind of remembered he had all these shoulder surgeries, and you never know, the shoulder surgery could really ruin Deshaun Watson. And if it does, they get a youngish quarterback on the team. So I like that. And Huntley's 26, so he still has some upside. And also, he played for Baltimore for a few years, so he might have some insight on the team, and that could help in the matchup. So for the minimum, why not? I gave it an A. See what we have some comments here. John says Tomlin, after watching 3 mediocre white quarterbacks for 2 years, give me 2 black guys. Yeah, Tomlin apparently was a big fan of Justin Fields, and so that's why I was so shocked that they got Russell Wilson, but they ended up getting Fields anyway for almost nothing. So I like that move. I just don't get the Russell Wilson thing. I would have preferred that they kept Mason Rudolph and then got Justin Fields, just in case Justin Fields failed there for whatever reason, they'd have Mason Rudolph to lean on. So it says Steelers should start Fields, and if he gets down 3 scores, put in Russell Wilson. That's when he plays the best. So yeah, so an amendment to that. So they put in Russell Wilson if they get down 3 scores, but then once he scores 2 touchdowns and they're back down 1 score, then they put in Fields, because that's when Russell Wilson implodes. He'll struggle early. He's just going to be horrible early, and then they're down 20, and then he catches fire, and then they get down 7, and then he throws a killer pick or a fumble. That always happens. So once you get back down 7, you take him out. It's kind of like a weird reliever or something. Z-Man asking lines graded for signing Zeitler. I don't have the contract details for that. There are some players I'm missing. Kevin Zeitler, Alexander Madison, Bradley Bozeman, Michael Davis, Jimmy Garoppolo, Devondre Campbell, Tyrell Dotson, Devin Bush, Nicholas Morrow. Those are the 9 players I don't have contract details on, and I'm constantly checking Twitter to see if I get them. But yeah, I mean, for now, I don't know what the details are. I imagine it's gonna be a good grade. It's a 1-year deal, so how bad could it be? But the question is is it for $5 million or is it for $12 million? Or could be a difference there. But either way, a 1-year deal isn't too risky. So I like the move because they lost Jonah Jackson. They had to replace him, and I'm all for teams strengthening their offensive lines. Patrick saying Steelers would be legendary in NFL Street on GameCube with the current roster playing Fields. Yeah, that would be pretty funny. Yeah, I miss GameCube. I miss all the old Nintendo systems. I actually have a Super Nintendo a thing down here. It's not the original Super Nintendo. It's like one of those that they sold a few years ago that they have like 30 games built in. And so like my son who's 2, he will come downstairs and he'll be like Mario on TV, Mario on TV, and so he wants me to either it wants me to turn on the Super Nintendo and either play Mario World or Super Mario Kart. And like I try to play Mario Kart with him. I'm like, he's too young to play by himself, so like I try to get him to like hold down the gas while I steer, and like it never works because he always lets go. And we finished in last place even in like 50 GPP, which is like pretty sad as a I hate to brag, but as a former world record holder of Choco Valley 1 to like get last place in 50 GPP Mushroom Cup. It's pretty funny, but like I just like if he doesn't hold down the gas, we just don't move. It's just funny. Z-Man asking, who do you have in the Final Four? I don't know yet. I'm gonna look and decide tonight. I'm gonna try to post my NCAA tournament picks. I'm just so behind. Like I usually do this Sunday night, but like now with 2 kids and like being behind and everything, it's just a mess. And like I think like the NCAA tournament schedule is weird this year. Like usually it's Selection Sunday happens before free agency. And then like the tournament happens like during free agency, and like now they did it a week later for some reason, and now like I was dealing with free agency, and like I just I had to update my mock draft because of all the free agency signings, and that took a while. Like that update for free agency signings is like the longest update because there's so many changes, and so I just couldn't do it. And then yesterday I had to do my golf stuff, like not for the picks, but also for Rainmaker. So. Yeah, I've just been behind with the 2 kids. Like usually have them up, but I'm gonna try to get them up by tomorrow morning. We'll see how that goes. I might pass out on at my computer. John says Russell Wilson plays better against prevent defenses, I guess. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, they stop getting super aggressive. It makes sense. Cassandra says, yeah, they'll want Fields to play in relief instead, so that condition of the pick isn't met. Yeah, and that's the key, right? It's not a huge deal going from 6th to 4th round, but I assume they're going to try to get him under that marker. Quacky says, see how he does the Kaizo hacks. Yeah, that'd be interesting to watch. Try to play like. I try to give him the controller for Super Mario World, like the first level, when you get Yoshi for the first time, and it's just like he doesn't quite know directions yet, and so like he'll just like hold down the direction and then he'll stop holding it, and like Mario just doesn't move, and like eventually like a Koopa Troopa like will kill him. So it's usually how it goes. But yeah, I look forward to him being able to play video games. So that'll be fun. All right, next signing, Patriots signed KJ Osborne, 1 year, $4 million. It was fine. KJ Osborne has some talent, not that much, but some. He tends to make a lot of mistakes. It's usually like a killer drop or a fumble. Like usually, like he's responsible for a boneheaded play. It's only 1 year, $4 million. The Patriots don't have much at receiver. They re-signed Kendrick Bourne, but he's coming off a torn ACL, so it's kind of a dumb move on their part. And I just don't expect them to play well this year. Maybe 2025 he'll probably be fine. But this year coming up, I don't like him. They have Damari Davis is good, but he's just a slot receiver. I think KJ Osborne could eventually I think he potentially could start on the outside, which kind of like is not a good sign. I assume the Patriots are going to draft a receiver in the 2nd or 3rd round. So I think this is just kind of like insurance, just in case like the receiver they draft does not play well. The Saints signed Chase Young. I gave this a D. It's 1 year, $13 million. I just hate what the Saints are doing. I complain about them all the time. Like they're a team that's always going to be 8-9 or 9-8. Like they're not good enough to compete for a deep playoff run. In fact, like I don't think they're going to make the playoffs with Atlanta getting Kirk Cousins. And obviously they haven't made the playoffs in the past 2 years anyway. So now they have to deal with Kirk Cousins in their division. So they're not good enough to make a deep playoff run, but they're not bad enough to be in contention for one of the top picks in the draft to get an elite quarterback. So they're going to be stuck with Derek Carr, just like decent talent in some spots of on their team, but like some liabilities as well. And they have a terrible coach in Dennis Allen. And so, like, I don't understand why they're signing Chase Young, who's like a super risky guy. I know this is only 1 year; it's 13 million though, and like, it's fully guaranteed. So like, they're gonna have to they're not going to be able to roll this 13 million over into the next offseason. So that's only going to create more cap problems. And yeah, they could keep kicking the can down the road like they usually do, but it's going to hurt them eventually. And they're going to have to blow this up soon. I feel like, and like, it'll be for the best, I guess. But I just like, this is a signing that like a team that like is in contention for Super Bowl would make, like the Bills signing him, or the Chiefs, or the Bengals, or the Niners again, bringing him back for this amount, or the Eagles. So like teams like that would make sense, but like the Saints are not going to be one of those teams competing for the Super Bowl. So like, why even bother with Chase Young? And by the way, Chase Young's not that good. Like, he has great talent, but I think ever since those injuries, he just hasn't been the same. It's like, he's a decent player. He's not great though. It's not dominant. And so I think he's just an overrated commodity. And I think the Saints are making a mistake, just as they have been doing. Quacky says Cincinnati Reds to win the NL. I have to get some MLB futures ready here soon. Okay, what are the odds on them? I don't know anything about baseball either. Like baseball and hockey, I'm super illiterate. Although I will say this, like I did really well with home run props in baseball last year, just using Odd Shopper. I think I'm gonna post some of the home run props that I take this year. I'm to try to figure out how to post on a mobile, because I'd have to post it like instantaneously. Like sometimes it won't be at my computer. Like it'll be like I'll wake up in the morning and like I'll see some props I like, and then I'll bet them, and then they just disappear within like 20 or 30 minutes. It's super tricky to get them. Like sometimes you just don't get a good number like for a while. So I have to figure that out. But I really did super well with that. Just using Odd Shoppers, like they'll find the best prop for you for each home run hitter, and like you just look for the best EVs. Like that's worked really well for me. So it's like I usually have like 20 bets or something like that, or 25 bets for the night, and like really like with the odds, like you only have to hit like 5 or 6 of them, and you make money. And if you hit 8 or 9, like you really bank. Like obviously there's some days where I lost money. Like I remember there's one day I had like only one of like 22. It was like brutal, but like overall I made money on it. So yeah, just I'm gonna try to share it with you guys. Just it's gonna be hard to figure out. Quack says Dodgers have the curse of the juggernaut. They can sign anyone they want. They aren't going to win anything. I'll take your word for it. I don't know anything about that. I don't even know that they sign players. I know they have a lot of money, but I don't know about that. John says, I'm so confused about the Saints' long-term strategy. It just makes no sense at all. Degeneron, $2 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Degeneron, thank you. Giants more likely trade partner than Chargers for Vikings. Okay. Yeah, in my mock draft, I have the Vikings moving up to 6 with the Giants. And I think the Giants are more likely. Well, first of all, like the Giants already, like there are rumors out there saying the Giants are going to take JJ McCarthy, which really doesn't make much sense to me. Like it's the same mistake they made with Daniel Jones. Like, are they going to do it again? Maybe they're that dumb, but I think like these rumors are floating out there. Like I think they actually floated the rumors just so they can increase their trade value. And with the Chargers, I feel like they need an elite receiver just because they traded Keenan Allen, they cut Mike Williams. Yeah, they drafted Quentin Johnston last year. He was terrible. Like he was outproduced by everyone. Like not just Joshua Palmer. I kind of like Joshua Palmer, but he's outproduced by everyone. And so like it was funny because like when Allen and Williams were out, they still had Palmer. And like yeah, okay, like people who are defending Johnston are like, oh, Palmer's good. Yeah, it makes sense that he's outproducing Johnston. And then Palmer got hurt, and then like Johnston was getting outproduced by like Darius Davis. Just this guy was so bad. So the Chargers really need number one receiver, and like they're gonna get either Malik Neighbors or Marvin Harrison Jr. Probably Neighbors. So I just don't see how they pass on that. I don't think they move down, because if they go to 11, they can say goodbye to Neighbors and Harrison Jr. and maybe even Rome Odunze. So just like they're gonna take a big hit, and I don't think they want Justin Herbert to not have an elite receiver. So I like if the Vikings give him a great deal, sure, they can move down. But I think the Chargers want to stay at 5. It's just a guess. I'm not. This is not like any factual information. I'm just guessing here. But with the Giants, I just think they have so many needs that they need as much draft capital as possible. Like their roster is in shambles. Like they really have nothing going on. They have a great pass rush now with Brian Burns, but overall, like and left tackle, but like overall, like just look at look at the roster. Like the quarterback sucks. The running back's diminished with Saquon Barkley gone. They have no number 1 receiver, and frankly, no number 2 receiver. Their tight end is Darren Waller. He's talking about retirement. Like he still might hang it up. They have weaknesses all over the offensive line. They have good front 7 players, especially on their defensive line, outside linebacker. But the linebackers are a concern. Their corners were bad last year. Like this team, and they lost Avery McKinney. So like their roster is just awful. Like, and so they need as much help as possible. So I think moving down makes so much sense for them. So I think that's more realistic. Cassandra says I hated the Young signing. Yeah, it's just awful. Yeah, I don't know. I think you went too easy on the Saints and you hated it too. Yeah, maybe I did. I gave him a D. Maybe I should have given it an F. I didn't give it an F because like this is not detrimental for the long term. It's not like Darnell Mooney, 3 years, $39 million. Like that contract was ridiculous. So like this is not on that level, but it's still pretty bad. Quacky says, any chance the Bears pass on Caleb Williams? Maybe they think he's the next Bo Callahan. Nice reference there. I like unless he like falls down the stairs, or if he's like arrested for some reason in the next month. Like I don't think they pass on him. Like it seemed like they traded Fields. Like they've shown so much interest in him. So I really don't think so. John says Brian Daboll didn't do anything in the NFL until he got Josh Allen. It's fair. It's Camel. I don't know. There's no name here. Camel says, what were the Browns thinking with the Jerry Jeudy deal? Yeah, that happened. I didn't grade it yet because it was just a re-signing. It's basically a contract extension. What was I forget what the terms were. Let me pull it up. Jerry Jeudy. Let's see. It's 3 years, $58 million, $41 million guaranteed. Like that's terrible. Like what is Jerry Jeudy has not proven anything. He had a great stretch at the end of 2022. And that kind of got me excited. I even bought a legendary Rainmaker card of Jerry Jeudy, and I have not made money off of it. He was so disappointing last year. Cortland Sutton looked great compared to him, and like the Broncos, they were more than happy to get rid of him because I think Sean Payton just kind of admitted that he wanted Marvin Mims to start over Jeudy, but like Jeudy was blocking him, so I'm thinking like, why don't you just start Mims? Jeudy was so bad. I don't know. I don't know what the Browns are thinking at all. And like their front office has been smarter recently. Or I guess like I don't know. I mean, if maybe if you ignore the Deshaun Watson trade and signing, they've been better recently. But yeah, I think this is just a big mistake on their part. Okay, so next we have Bills re-signed Taron Johnson, 3 years, $31 million. He is now the highest paid slot cornerback in the NFL, and I think he deserves it. He's a really good cornerback. Played great recently. I gave this a B plus. I think it's solid, solid signing. It's not a bargain, so I'm not going to go into the A territory, but yeah, good move by the Bills. Next is Broncos signed Cody Barton, 1 year, $4 million. So they lost Josie Jewell. That's a big loss. So they're going to need a replacement, and Barton's fine. He's 27. He's just an okay player. I think this is a solid signing. Like there's no risk really. 1 year, $4 million. And so like I feel like Denver should still target a linebacker early in the draft. And I think this is kind of like insurance more than anything. Next up is the 49ers signed Josh Dobbs, 1 year, $2.25 million. So they lost Sam Darnold. So Josh Dobbs, I guess, is going to be their new backup. And I I I don't know if there's much of a difference between Darnold and Dobbs, and I say that because Darnold signed a 1 year, $10 million deal with the Vikings, and so like the Niners are going to save almost 8 million on this, and it seems like it's a great deal for Dobbs. Remember last year, like he showed up to Minnesota, he didn't even know the playbook, and he beat Atlanta. And I know he made mistakes after that, like that Monday night game, he imploded with those interceptions, and he had some other bad games, but like he had some bright moments too. And it's not like he has that much experience; like he's still learning, and he's a smart guy, so I think he's going to get better. If I'm the Niners, I'd rather have Dobbs for 2.25 million rather than Darnold 10 million. And like even if they were even closer, I think I'd still lean toward Dobbs. I know like Darnold was the higher pick, and like if their salaries are equal, I think I'd take Darnold. But like if it's like if you're talking about like Darnold at 7 versus Dobbs at 4, I think I'd still take Dobbs at 4. So I like the signing. Let's see here. Okay, moving on. The Cardinals signed Evan Brown, 1 year, 2.35 million. I think this is kind of telling that the Cardinals really want a center early in the draft. And so they signed Evan Brown as insurance. Teams tend to do that a lot. They're like when they target picks in like certain positions in the draft, they know that they want to address the position, but they're thinking is like as a hedge. They're like, well, what if we can't get anyone we like? Like we at least need someone. So Evan Brown is a really good backup. And if he has to start, it's not the end of the world. He's okay. It's not great, but he's okay. So for this amount of money for only 1 year, I think it's a good signing. It's not going to change the landscape of anything in the NFL, but it's you need to protect Kyler Murray because he's not played a full season yet in the NFL. So this is going to help. So you can't criticize it, I don't think. John says it shows me the 49ers are sold on Purdy. Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely for sure. He's played great at times, and he doesn't have that much experience. And he's come up big in the playoffs. Like he had some struggles in the first half against the Packers and the Lions, and then look what he did in the second half of those games. Like he played really well in crunch time, and so you kind of have to admire that. And you still like you have to wonder what he would play like if he didn't have that amazing like supporting cast and coaching staff. But and like he's definitely outplayed his draft positioning. He's like by far the best quarterback in that class now. Like if you look at that draft class, it is so bad. Like it's led by Kenny Pickett, who was traded, and Malik Willis is there. He sucks. Matt Corral is awful. Like so many bad quarterbacks in that class. Skylar Thompson, so on. So like Purdy like is by far the best quarterback in that class. All right, so Jets signed Mike Williams is the big one. 1 year, $15 million for Mike Williams. This reminds me so much of the Tyron Smith signing when the Jets signed Tyron Smith for 1 year, $20 million, which is I think it's like really like 1 year, $6 million. But like all these contracts are bloated. Like none of these numbers are real. It's all the agents telling Schefter or Rappaport or Pelissero or like whoever what these numbers are. Like that's how they report it. They just hear from the agents. And so, yeah, this is probably going to be like 1 year, $5.5 million or maybe 6. So like this is really reminiscent of Tyron Smith because Tyron Smith is so injury prone. He's a big risk, but he's a great talent. And like when he's healthy, like the Jets are going to have a great left tackle. It's the same thing with Mike Williams. Like he's super injury prone, especially I think even more so than Tyron Smith because he's coming off a torn ACL. But when he's healthy, he's a fantastic player. Aaron Rodgers is going to love throwing to him. The problem is the torn ACL. And I think when receivers and running backs come back too early from it, they tend to get other injuries. Like it's usually an Achilles that they get hurt. So I wrote on the site, I'm like, if I'm the Jets, I keep Mike Williams in bubble wrap until Thanksgiving. Like I don't even play him until November. Like, and I thought they at least one encouraging thing for the Jets here. I thought they treated Breece Hall's ACL injury really well. They gave Breece Hall like 10 or so carries a game in the first 2 months of the season last year, and then I think it was the Denver game, when like they announced it, like, okay, the shackles are off. Brees Hall is going to get the full workload because they're finally comfortable with him. And then Brees Hall had an amazing second half of the year. Maybe they'll do the same thing with Mike Williams. They'll like really limit him, maybe play him like a third of the snaps or something like that. I think that would be smart because pushing him too early would be detrimental. And I still think they draft a receiver early in the draft. But late in the year, if Williams can avoid injury, which is, asking a lot, but still, if Williams is healthy in December and January, like that's going to be so huge for the Jets, because by then he should be recovered from the 20 ACL. So I'm a fan of the signing. I gave it a B plus because like there's risk with the injury, but as far as like the terms are concerned, it's like 1 year. It's not going to be that detrimental if he re-injures himself. Like the Jets are in a position to take a big risk because they're going all in for the Super Bowl. So it's like I said, it's the same as the Tyron Smith signing. This could blow up in their face, but even if it does, like they took a shot, and I think that's what they need to do right now with Rodgers. Just give him like the best weapons possible. Quacky says the girl from Saved by the Bell was in that class too. Oh, what class? Oh, yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying. Well, but here's the problem. Like, she was really good in that show, but so like she would probably be better than everyone else if it's really translated to real life, which obviously it's not. But yeah, they actually in the show in the second season they canceled the football. They actually stopped playing football because too many players are getting hurt. And so like the parents complained, so they shut down the football program, and then she went to wrestling and she became like a wrestling star like right away. So yeah. Is Tre'Davious White still a good free agent to sign? I mean, he's super injury prone. If he can pass a physical, then yeah, I'd be all for it. But he's not been the same player since he's gotten hurt so many times. But I still think he can play pretty well, assuming he can pass a physical. And like that's the big factor here. I believe there's one more. Yeah, the Vikings signed Shaq Griffin 1 year, $6 million. Shaq Griffin, he's just so hard to predict how he's going to play. Like sometimes he looks really good, sometimes he gets burned a lot. I don't know why he's so inconsistent, but he's coming off a bad year. He actually got cut by the Texans. But yeah, I mean, if you're just gonna go in the history, like whenever he plays well, the next year he's bad, and then when he plays bad, the next year he's good. So like maybe he's gonna play well for the Vikings. He's still in his 20s, so he's not that old. So he's 29. So he could definitely rebound. It's only 1 year, $6 million, so there's no risk here. I gave him an A minus. The Vikings need a lot of help in the secondary, and Griffin could definitely help. Or he could be terrible, but if he's terrible, he's not going to be much worse than what the Vikings have had at cornerback recently. But yeah, I think that's about it. Those are all the signings that have happened outside of the ones where I don't have terms. So I'm going to try to get those, as soon as possible. And then tomorrow going to be back. We're either going to be talking about more signings or going to go through my mock draft, which was updated through free agency. Kenny's not going to be on tomorrow. But he's asking to come on another day this week. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe Saturday or something like that, or if Tom comes on Saturday, maybe on Thursday Kenny will come on. So we'll see. Maybe Kenny will come on this week, maybe not. But I'll be solo again tomorrow. But yeah, thanks so much, guys, for watching and commenting. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much for Degeneron for the $2 super chat. Like I said, really appreciate it. This is gonna be more than the YouTube ads pay, like even $2, like that's how much this helps. So just really appreciate it. Like I said, we'll be back tomorrow, Thursday, and then Saturday as usual. Normal scheduling. And yeah, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description for the merch store, or visit walterfootball.com. We have tons of content as usual. So but yeah, thanks so much, guys. And I will talk to you tomorrow, and have a good night.